Let me start with a tough question. What kind of man loses a good woman and then blames everyone else for it? What kind of man pushes away loyalty, patience, and love and then says, she just didn't understand me? Here's the truth. It's not always a cruel man. It's not always a bad man. Most of the time, it's an unprepared man. An unprepared man doesn't see the value in what he has. He takes loyalty for granted. He thinks patience is weakness. He mistakes steady, calm love for boredom. And when that good woman finally gets tired and leaves, he doesn't look at himself. He doesn't think about what he could have done differently. He looks outward. He blames her mood. He blames timing. He blames circumstances. Because blaming is easier than reflecting. You see, maturity is measured by responsibility. The moment you start saying, what did I do wrong? Instead of, why did she do this to me? You begin to grow. A good woman does not leave overnight. She leaves slowly, in silence, after repeated disappointment, after unmet needs, after feeling unheard too many times. But the unprepared man does not notice the small warnings. He ignores the quiet tears. He dismisses the honest conversations. Until one day, her absence speaks louder than her presence ever did. And then he becomes the victim in his own story. But let me tell you something powerful. Victims repeat cycles. Leaders break them. A man who refuses accountability will repeat the same relationship with a different face. Different name. Same pattern. But a man who accepts responsibility evolves. He asks himself, did I listen? Did I grow? Did I protect what mattered? Did I lead with strength and compassion? Because pushing away a good woman is rarely about her flaws. It is usually about his unhealed habits. Immaturity pushes away stability. Ego pushes away honesty. Insecurity pushes away intimacy. And when ego loses what it could not appreciate, it creates a story to protect itself. But growth requires humility. If you have ever lost someone valuable, do not waste that pain. Study it. Learn from it. Let it refine you. Do not say, she was too much. Ask, was I enough? Do not say, she gave up. Ask, did I show up? Character is not built when everything goes well. It is built when you face your own reflection without excuses. A strong man does not play victim. He plays student. He studies his mistakes. He strengthens his weaknesses. He upgrades his mindset. And the next time a good woman enters his life, he is ready. Not perfect, but prepared. Because here is the truth. You cannot keep what you are not ready to lead. So if you've pushed someone good away, don't rewrite the story to protect your pride. Rewrite yourself to protect your future. Many men fail to see the value right in front of them. They take loyalty for granted, patience for granted, and love for granted. Small gestures of care, consistent support, and quiet devotion often go unnoticed until they are gone. That's the danger of lacking self-awareness. When you don't notice what you're doing or how your actions affect the person beside you. Self-awareness means paying attention to your own behavior and understanding its impact. It means asking yourself, am I present? Am I listening? Am I showing appreciation? Am I creating a safe and supportive space? Most men get so caught up in their routines, their frustrations, or their ego that they overlook these questions. Relationships don't fail overnight. They fail in small, quiet ways. Ignored conversations, unmet promises, delayed attention, and emotional absence all accumulate. Without self-awareness, you don't see the warning signs until it's too late. By then, the woman who once invested deeply in you may have already started withdrawing, leaving you confused and blaming her instead of looking inward. Developing self-awareness is not about perfection. It's about reflection. It's about noticing your patterns, admitting your mistakes, and taking responsibility for how your actions or inactions affect the relationship. It's about valuing the person beside you enough to notice what she needs before she has to ask, and to respond before small cracks become unrepairable breaks. The man who cultivates self-awareness becomes a leader in his own life and in his relationships. He recognizes what he has before he loses it. He acts before regret forces him to. And he builds a connection that grows stronger instead of pushing the most valuable people away. Self-awareness is the first step in transforming from a man who loses what matters into a man who protects, cherishes, and inspires trust. It is not just a skill, it is the foundation of lasting love. Playing the victim is one of the most destructive habits a man can develop. It may feel easier in the short term, blaming circumstances, blaming her, blaming timing, because it protects the ego and avoids uncomfortable self reflection. But what it really does is trap a man in a cycle of weakness and regret. When you focus on, why did this happen to me, instead of, what can I learn from this, you give away your power. A victim mindset shifts responsibility away from yourself. It turns relationships into a game of blame rather than growth. Every mistake or missed opportunity becomes someone else's fault. And while blaming may temporarily soothe pride, it prevents transformation. Real growth begins when a man stops defending his ego and starts examining his own actions and patterns. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you are harsh on yourself or that you assume all fault. It means you are honest. You ask yourself the hard questions. Did I communicate clearly? Did I show up emotionally? Did I lead with integrity and consistency? Did I value her when I had the chance? These questions are uncomfortable, but they are the only path toward true maturity. The truth is, every relationship reflects the man within. If he consistently plays the victim, he will repeat the same mistakes with different partners. But a man who embraces accountability becomes someone who learns from loss, adapts, and strengthens his character. He doesn't waste energy resenting what he cannot control. Instead, he focuses on what he can improve, himself. Victimhood keeps a man stuck. Responsibility frees him. And the difference between the two is what separates a man who loses great love repeatedly from a man who finally becomes capable of holding and nurturing it. Growth does not happen when you blame. It happens when you face the truth, take ownership, and evolve. Good women rarely leave suddenly. Most departures happen slowly, quietly, and with warning. Emotional neglect does not appear in dramatic moments. It builds over time. Small actions or inactions accumulate. A conversation ignored, a concern dismissed, a promise left unfulfilled. Over weeks, months, or even years, these small cracks widen, and the woman begins to withdraw her energy, patience, and trust. A man who is not paying attention often misses these signals. He mistakes silence for calm, distance for independence, or frustration for moodiness. He doesn't realize that every small step of disengagement is a message. I feel unseen. I feel unvalued. I feel disconnected. Emotional neglect is quiet, but it speaks loudly to anyone who listens. The key to preventing this is awareness and responsiveness. Notice the little signs before they become irreversible. Listen when she expresses concerns, even indirectly. Show appreciation for her efforts consistently. Validate her feelings and communicate openly. Every small action of acknowledgement reinforces the bond, while ignoring them erodes it. It is also about consistency, not grand gestures. A single thoughtful act cannot repair months of neglect, but consistent attention, respect, and care can strengthen a relationship and rebuild trust. The best relationships are built on steady reinforcement, not occasional drama. Emotional neglect teaches a powerful lesson. Relationships require maintenance. Love is not passive, it is active, daily, intentional. By recognizing the slow warning signs and responding with care, a man demonstrates maturity and leadership, and he preserves the connection before it reaches a breaking point. The woman who leaves slowly is not abandoning easily, she is protecting herself. A man who pays attention, who responds to her needs, and who invests in emotional connection shows that he values her deeply. Awareness and action prevent loss and create the space for love to thrive instead of fade. When you put all of this together, a clear truth emerges. Losing a good woman is rarely about her mistakes. It is almost always about a man's unhealed habits, inattentiveness, and avoidance of responsibility. Emotional neglect, lack of awareness, and victim thinking slowly erode trust, intimacy, and respect. The path to becoming a man who holds and nurtures love begins with self-reflection. It begins with asking the hard questions. Am I present? Am I listening? Am I showing up consistently? Am I taking responsibility for my actions rather than blaming circumstances or her responses? Accountability transforms pain into power. Awareness transforms neglect into care. Responsibility transforms ego into maturity. When a man embraces these principles, he no longer plays the victim. He becomes a student of his own growth. He learns to notice the small signs, act with intention, and invest in relationships before it is too late. A strong man understands that love requires leadership, not control, not manipulation, but consistency, presence, and emotional intelligence. He knows that attraction, trust, and intimacy are built over time through steady effort and reflection. The ultimate lesson is simple: you cannot keep what you are not ready to lead. Excuses protect pride, but they destroy opportunity. Growth protects your future. Reflection strengthens your character. And a man who masters these principles becomes capable of holding a good woman, not through luck, persuasion, or charm, but through readiness, responsibility, and genuine personal evolution. In the end, losing someone valuable is not a story of failure, it is a lesson. The man who learns it, changes it, and grows from it will never repeat the same mistakes. And that is where true power and lasting attraction begin.